most holy month of the year. Of course, I'm speaking of Pride Month, the month when we celebrate one of the 7 deadly sins and all attendant sexual immorality connected with it. Actually, maybe 2 of the deadly sins, actually, depending on which ones we are counting here. But Pride Month is a time when we come together and we spend an entire month honoring LGBTQ plus minus divided by sign I, two-spirit.
Dude, I love that. That joke it always pops. One joke, Andy's, dude.
Happy face emoji, sad face emoji, tilde people. About 30 times more than we celebrated all the soldiers who died to preserve our freedom. We have Memorial Day, but we do have Pride Month, which is like a month filled with.
Yeah, I love that. Dude, this is like boomer talking point simulator, dude. It's awesome. He's like, we don't celebrate our veterans. Shut the fuck up. When's the last time you celebrated a veteran, dickhead? Shut up. You don't give a fuck about the veterans, dude. He did the LGBTQIA, too hard to understand. What's that about? Minus sign, plus sign. And then now he's saying like, oh, well, we don't celebrate our soldiers. I mean, there's gay soldiers, so I guess they appreciate it. But hey, guess what? You know, you're in the military. Don't ask, don't tell, baby.
With days. And lest you think, wait, didn't we already have Pride? No, we didn't have Pride Month. We had like Lesbian Visibility Day, and we had like Transgender Awareness Week. We've had like,
Ben Shapiro finds out that all of these fucking holidays are basically bullshit created to purchase and sell you commodities. It's so funny. He's such a big boy. He learns about this every year, and he's shocked every year.
Even a lot of it this year, but Pride Month is, of course, it's basically the high holidays when it comes to secular morality. And so just like Christmas time, when all of the stores decide that they are going to spruce up by putting holly in the windows and Santa receiving children to give them their Christmas wishes, just like that, Pride Month, we will festoon all of our corporate stores. Everything in America will be festooned with rainbows.
Exactly. You just said it. It's like Christmas. It's a bullshit capitalist commodity backed holiday for you to just go out and purchase stuff. And it's not even like that, really. It's not even like a holiday. It's just like corporations just remember that like queer people exist for a month. That's it.
Festooned with the new Pride Progress flags. The rainbows are passé. I mean, we know that already because they didn't include enough BIPOC, transgender little people. So we have to have the world's ugliest flag, the Pride Progress flag, which is the rainbow flag, but it has that weird triangle that comes in from the side, but also has some light pink and light.
They're so mad. I'm sorry. As someone who regularly rips on how ugly the Pride flag is, it is the gayest thing you can do, okay? To constantly talk about like the color schemes of the Pride flag and how fucking unaesthetic it is literally the gayest thing you could do. Yeah, it's lame. Everybody knows that. You fucking make commentary around it for 35 minutes. It's like, you know, be normal, please. Holy fuck.
Blue on it and all of the rest. It's all very exciting stuff. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, why is it that there is a universal wave of celebration of Pride Month? After all, isn't this a country where a large segment of the population actually is traditionally religious? In fact, isn't America the most traditionally religious Western country in terms of...
Wait, what? Wait, what is he saying? Dude, the entire structure needs to capitulate to my demands. Me and like the small constituency that I represent, okay? Everyone's like me. Me.
Church attendance in terms of people who believe in Judeo-Christian morality with regard to sexual mores. Isn't this a country where...
Yeah, dude, totally. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see something. Let's Google it. This is from 2022. Wow. Most favor protecting trans people from discrimination. Okay. Strongly favor. 64% of Americans strongly favor protecting trans people from discrimination. He also incorporates, perhaps deliberately, Christianity as a whole into the homophobia bracket, which is not true. Plenty of Americans that go to church also do not care about LGBT people in the sense, like, do not want to harm LGBT people and are perfectly open-minded about gay people. There are plenty of gay people and trans people that even go to fucking church. So the idea churchgoers number or like the believers in Christianity number or the believers in Judaism number has anything to do with like homophobia and being anti-queer is a silly one.
Where there still is a pretty significant split over the question of the morality of, say, whether a boy is a girl or a girl is a boy. Well, yes, there is, but not in the halls of corporate America. And then you might wonder, well, hold up a second. Isn't corporate America answerable to the people? I mean, after all, doesn't corporate America have to cater to the market? We've been told capitalism turns everything into a matter of making money. And when you ignore half the audience in the United States, you're probably shrinking your audience size. If you just stayed neutral, wouldn't you be better off? Let's say you just didn't celebrate Pride Month.
Once again, this is a market condition. If you love the free market, you can try and boycott it. But, going beyond that is going to be silly. And if you think that half of the United States of America is anti-gay or cares about gay people that much, you are delusional. You are wrong. That is not correct. The notion that even half of the country is actually actively Republican is a silly one, but they love saying that because we live in a two-party system. That is not the case. If anything, the plurality doesn't vote, usually, which means there are more people who are voter eligible that don't vote than vote for either party, okay? It's just the fucking freaks that care about this shit. As a matter of fact, that is precisely the reason why corporations, knowing all of this, is actively making these market decisions. Pride Month is pandering to the LGBT community, for the entire month of June. They look at the broader American public. They look at who has disposable income, and they make these decisions before Ben Shapiro and the others get upset about it and start fancying themselves as like corporate marketers, okay? You can cry about it as much as you want, but ultimately, people do not care about LGBT values one way or the other. Republicans don't even care about companies pandering to the LGBT community during the month of Pride. The people that do care, unfortunately, are the fucking loudest people, though.
You didn't celebrate you didn't celebrate Christian morals and mores, but you also didn't celebrate Pride Month. All you do is you sell shoes. You're a shoe store and you sell shoes. You have like a giant rainbow display talking about RuPaul's gallivanting around in high heels. And at the same time, you don't have like pictures of nuns wearing shoes. It's just a shoe store. And you might think to yourself, wait, wouldn't that be the safest approach for corporate America?
I love, again, it's not nuns versus gay people. If America was as Christ-cucked as you claim it is, right, then corporations would have nuns in display. They would have priests on their displays because that would mean that is what sells shoes, okay? But that is not the case. And that's why they're doing the gay outreach for a month.
And the answer today is no. The answer today is no. Because here's the thing. We on the right, we've been engaging in a tactic where we pick and we choose a few corporations and we bat them about the ears. And that's good. We should be doing that. But is that going to solve the overall problem of corporate America universally to a corporation backing the LGBTQ plus minus divided by sign I two-spirit agenda? Is that going to solve the problem? Now, it may intimidate some people into something reflecting neutrality. But the problem is that we may be on the point of neutrality at this point. The reason I say this is because there's a Harvard Business School study just a couple of years back. It's like 2014 by James Bailey and Hillary Phillips in Harvard Business Review. And here's what the study looked at. What the study looked at is the views of people on the left and people on the right with regard to how they regard corporations. Do they like corporations? Do they not like corporations? And so what they looked at was a fake corporation. They made up a corporation called Jones Corp. And they basically said, they created a few iterations of it. One was that Jones Corp was a conservative corporation. Iteration number 2 is that it was a neutral corporation. And iteration number 3 is that it was a left-wing corporation. For people who are on the left, if they perceive the corporation as either neutral or left-wing, they're basically indifferent about it. But as soon, literally the moment, that it identified in any way as a conservative corporation, there was a 33% drop in opinion among people of the left. That was not mirrored among people of the right. People of the right.
So doesn't that literally fucking go against your perspective? Isn't that precisely the reason why corporations do not care? Also, what the fuck is a left-wing corporation? That is antithetical to left-wing values. I think what he means is like a corporation that's liberal, okay? A corporation that identifies as a libbed-up corporation. You're just upset at the indifference that conservatives feel towards companies and the decisions they make towards marketing, and you want to whip your audience up in a frenzy so they behave in the manner that like SJWs behave, supposedly, okay?
Basically saw the corporation the same across the board. It's a place that sells me things. But people of the left saw these corporations as innately...
Like, you're using this as a value. You're, on the one hand, saying, look, conservatives are above that kind of thing, and it's great. And then you turn around and you fucking say conservatives shouldn't be above that kind of thing. So which is it?
Of the left. which means the neutral space has disappeared. And the right has responded by pointing out, okay, well, if you're saying the neutral space has disappeared and you are clubbing everybody from neutrality into the left, well, then in order to restore neutrality, maybe we have to pull them back to the right. But maybe neutrality just doesn't exist anymore. Maybe these corporations aren't going to have a safe space where they can just, provide you product without having to engage in this game. And unfortunately, that has become the case because there is a group of people, a group of very elite people who get together on a fairly regular basis in the halls of power, and they decide for all of us exactly what social politics are.
I mean, this is so funny because, Mr. Pro-Capitalism is upset that, the only color capitalists care about is green. You know what I mean? And I've heard him say this a million times over. Capitalism can't be racist because capitalism only cares about green. It cares about consumers. And, when those corporations are even, pandering, when they're even pandering to gay people for, 30 fucking days of the goddamn year, okay, as they still fund Republican right-wing politicians and whatnot for deregulation purposes, Ben loses his fucking mind. It's so stupid.
Are going to be promulgated every time you go to Target, every time you go to Kohl's, every time you go to Disneyland. There's a broad-based agreement by investment capital firms that they are going to promote left-wing agenda items, and they're going to do it with the backing of government, but also in collusive fashion. They're going to get together and they're all going to universally push ESG, right? Environmental social governance. The S in ESG is what we're talking about here, social governance, meaning they wish to push forward a left-wing social agenda, and you will be told exactly what you are supposed to believe. And if you do not like it, they're counting on your apathy.
It's so stupid. Yeah. No, that's not the case. Corporations do not care about changing people's minds unless that change is happening at the point of purchase. That's what corporations care about. Corporations do not care whether you're homophobic or as gay as Rick Perry, okay? They just care that you go to Target and buy shit at Target. That's it. The notion that a corporation like Target saying, hey, gay people, come shop here. We love you. We care about you for 1 month out of the year is not as dangerous as Ben presents it, no matter how hysterical he gets. Target is not interested in making everyone gay, okay? Target is not capable of making everyone gay. It doesn't work that way. Ben tries to make it seem as though they are brainwashing your children to be gay. No, your kid is gay, okay? Not every child is, but your child might be, and that's it. So when the only thing you're trying to mask in that regard, when you yell about corporations, private businesses, saying that they're open-minded to gay people, is that you want to stop that. You just don't want an environment that is non-hostile to that form of existence. That's it. That's the problem. The problem you have is not that corporations are turning your kids gay. The problem is that corporations or, other facets of society that you existed are saying, no, we're fine. Gay people exist. It's all right. It's good.
To make sure that there is no actual backlash. And if there is backlash, maybe it'll be sporadic. Maybe it'll die out. Because there's one thing they know above all, and that is that the entire ESG superstructure, the funding superstructure for this, is way larger than any individual boycott that conservatives can put together against Bud Light or put together against Target. So how exactly does this really corrupt system work? We'll get to that in just 1 second. First, if you don't trust the federal...
Yeah, he's got to do his ad read real quick. Hold up.
BlackRock CEO Larry Fink talked about the necessity for the business elite with their left-wing social politics to dictate to literally every consumer of the West exactly how they should feel about controversial social issues.
It's just, you have to force behaviors. And if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race, just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted. And that's not recruiting. It is development, as Ken said.
Okay, so it's development, it's recruiting, and it is investment itself. Investing in ESG positive companies has become the way that all of these major corporations, these major investment firms, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, that is how they control the narrative in the United States of America. Again,
okay, I love that Ben Shapiro, who's supposedly a libertarian, okay, losing his fucking mind at the very, according to him, grim reality that corporations recognize diversity initiatives sell. He's like, I love capitalism, unless that capitalism means we're selling product to gay people. I don't like that kind of capitalism. We need to hone that kind of capitalism in. We need to stop that capitalism immediately. That's when I become a woke anti-capitalist. That's it, man. That's it. Gay people have disposable income, you fucking dingus. That's the whole point. That's why they're doing this, okay? It's ridiculous. I love capitalism, but I want to make sure that it's homophobic capitalism. Also, BlackRock is not a woke company by any means. That's it. Like, if you think that like BlackRock is woke, you probably are of the mindset that like Jeff Bezos is woke and a leftist or something, and you are so fucking stupid that I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how I can have a conversation with you because you are living in a different universe.
As Frericks writes, the turning point was 2019. That year, the Business Roundtable, a group of CEOs from America's largest companies, adopted a new statement on the purpose of a corporation, declaring that all companies share a fundamental commitment to all of our stakeholders to promote the larger social good. 188 American CEOs signed on. Among them were the CEOs of the Big Three and other large financial institutions like JP Morgan and Bank of America, and many of the companies they own. That includes Target, Disney, and Coca-Cola. The Big Three began to issue guidelines on how they expected their portfolio companies to honor this commitment by implementing those ESG targets or scores. And so they immediately started leveraging in left-wing social engineering into all of these companies. The Big Three wield enormous influence over pretty much everything that happens inside of these companies. And you know who knows that is Joe Biden. So according to Beth Brooke Marciano,
yeah, we should break it up. We should enforce some regulatory mechanisms. I agree. I guess Ben and I are both anti-capitalist. I mean, I'm fine with that. I love that, actually. I'm elated at the prospect. You know, what are we going to do about it, Ben? Let's hold hands and get together and finally eviscerate the scourge of BlackRock. Finally eviscerate the scourge of global finance capital. Let's do it. I love that. I fucking love that. What's the plan here? And that's the point. There is nothing. They just don't want BlackRock to do gay shit. That's it. Or not even BlackRock. I can't believe I'm like taking his argument seriously. They just don't want to see the rainbow flag for the month of June. That's the only problem they have. Meanwhile, your audience is suffering from the material harm corporate consolidation is cultivated and created. A material harm that you defend regularly. Inflation is a very real and deliberate byproduct of the structure that you are currently criticizing. But you don't give a fuck about the inflation aspect. You only care about the gay t-shirts. That is so unserious. It's the inflation that hurts you. It's not like the existence of gay people, and it's not companies pandering to gay people for like 30 days out of the year, okay? Ben does not want to control inflation. Ben does not want to control companies because that would be considered communism, okay? He doesn't want that. He just wants to yell like Ron DeSantis did about Disney and keep yelling over and over and over again about these companies just, putting forward statements that they care about gay people. It's cool though because I see this as a pendulum swing, okay? I just need you guys to understand. Maybe I'm too hopeful. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I'm naive. But I do think that this level of hysterical screeching is going to make people annoyed for the most part. Because the more confident these thought leaders get, the more they will push for others to go out and boycott products, okay? And the more they do that, the more other moderate Republicans or just like regular people are going to be fucking annoyed with them constantly screeching, constantly telling you you're bad or immoral or wrong for consuming something that you want to consume. Because ultimately, this American project revolves around one thing and one thing only. Treats that you can easily consume, easily accessible, relatively affordable treats. When you fucking shut off the treat faucet, all of a sudden people start recognizing, wait a minute, my financial situation is fucking dire. I hate my boss. I hate my life. I feel isolated. I feel alienated. I have no sense of fucking community. And now you're telling me that I can't go to Applebee's because they said they love gay people? Well, fuck you. I'm going to go to Applebee's and I'm going to eat that gay jalapeno popper like it's a cock. You can't tell me what to do, okay? People are about to treat them the same way Hoggies treated SJWs. Exactly. If corporations just stand strong for like 3.5 fucking seconds, they will literally recognize that they're not going to take a massive hit and that these guys will just come across as like screeching fucking losers. Disney is a great example of this as well. You tell people like, oh no, you should feel bad about going to Disney. They're going to be like, fuck you. I'm going to take my kids to fucking Disney. I don't give a shit how gay it is, okay? I like Disney a lot more than I like you, Ben Shapiro, is going to be the answer.